This is modern homesteading.
So finally, after weeks of rigorous testing, the ubiquitous chest holster is ready for its debut. Old school tabletop review right here. First off, let's talk about what this is and how it came about. A very fine young man by the name of Christian Stossel of Redbeard Holsters contacted me several weeks ago and said, I really like your channels, I've been a subscriber for a while, and I'm making custom holsters. I'd like to make you something just as a way to say thank you for all the videos. And I contacted him back and I said, that would be great. He offered an outside the waistband Kydex holster. I said, that would be great, but I have lots of those. But I'll tell you what I do like, what I would like, it doesn't exist. And that's how this holster, the Chester holster, the Chester holster was conceived. So what I told him, I had some very specific ideas. This design is nothing new. This is taken from, or inspired from, the classic guide holster that Alaskan hunting guides use. And the reason why they use this is accessibility. It's something that you can wear on the outside of your clothing when you're in environments like up in the cold where you're dealing with grizzlies and wolves, where you can always have access and get to your firearm very quickly. The problem with the traditional or the classic Alaskan holster is that it's a very beautifully, finely made leather holster, very expensive and really overbuilt for what I wanted. And I didn't want leather. I like leather, I love leather, it has its place, but for this particular application I want lightweight, I want it to be slim, durable, and I want utility. So that big leather holster and with the buckles and all this stuff just wasn't an option for me. But nothing else existed like this. So as I was talking with Christian, I told him there's a few things I wanted. I wanted no retention, or exterior retention, no snaps or anything, and I wanted him to use a thin, flexible Kydex. I wanted something that wasn't too heavy duty. There's a trend or kind of a tendency among holster builders just to go thicker and thicker and thicker, and the problem with that is when you're wearing it, it doesn't seem like it makes a big difference, but a little bit of flexibility is nice, especially when it's on your chest, right on your sternum. So I told him I wanted something that was thin, something that kind of copied the Raven style concealment holsters, and with a good positive lockup, and he really came through on that. The second thing I told him that I wanted was adjustability, so I could wear it over if I'm wearing big poofy clothing or lots of layers, or I'm just wearing a t-shirt. And I wanted it to have soft webbing. I like the holster or the slings that Magpul builds. They use a really soft webbing. And if you guys have ever used that coarse hard webbing, that cheaper webbing, when you drag that across your skin, it'll cut you like a knife. So this being worn close to the neck, close to the carotid artery, needs to be soft. So I wanted it to be soft and big, heavy duty, robust hardware. So essentially I just kind of laid out to him what I wanted and how I wanted it to function, and I left it up to him what the ultimate design was. And I said, you know, just look at what we have with the Alaskan guide holster. And this is what he came up with. This is the Generation 1. This is the one you guys have been seeing me wear in the videos. And the reason why I haven't done a video beforehand is because we're going through the testing process of it and trying to really get it dialed in. So the Gen 1 is the one that I've been wearing. Today, I just received in the mail the Gen 2, which reflects some of the changes that I wanted made. One of the key changes that I wanted made on the Gen 2 was the points of contact on the back here. We decided to use leather on the back because this is coming in contact with the skin, and it moves just a little bit. It's a little bit of cushion when it's sitting there on your sternum. I would not want this to be a hard, rigid plastic, because when you lean up against things, leaned up against trees or leaned up against my truck to take things out of the back, that it was uncomfortable. It would be uncomfortable, so I like the leather. Gen 1 had 2 points of contact, as you can see here, and we just had a little bit of movement in the back, just a little bit of a flop that we figured wasn't ideal. So the Gen 2, we decided to go with 3 points of contact, and that's what we have here. A little bit smaller footprint on the leather, but as you can see, we've replaced the grommet with a screw. So there we have the 3 points of contact. Essentially everything else is really similar. This one here is housing a Glock 19. This one here is housing a Glock 26, obviously. but you can go back and forth. So, I mean, those of you guys who are Glock fans know that that's one nice thing about them. They're interchangeable. Another change that was made here that may or may not be reflected on Gen 3, there's going to be one more sent to me reflecting a couple more changes, is this, the front here. I'm not sure if I want the holster to be covering the muzzle, if that's important or not. So that's something I'm working out. So I don't know exactly how that's going to be, but that's essentially it. The 3 points of contact, the cut in here, I think that's about it. Is about it. So I'm confident enough with the design that we're really, really close, that I just need to see the last one that's going to be sent to me, and then they're going to be made available. So now to the availability. I suggested to Christian that let's do a limited Wranglerstar run of these. And what we're going to do is we're going to make 15 of these available. He's going to make these. He makes them all by hand and from his shop. And these 15 are going to be my signature edition. They're going to have the Wranglerstar logo in them, similar or just like this here. Now, Christian sent me, he has the ability to make, to fit several different weapons. I've got a list right here. So if you own, he can make a holster for Glock 9mm through 40s, Smith & Wesson M&Ps 9mm through 40s. He can make one for the Shield, XD 9mm 40 cal, XDS 9mm 45 ACP. And the wait time is going to be 2 to 3 weeks for those, because he's got to make those one at a time. So here's the deal with the price. We talked about it, and the fact, since these are handmade and everything is all hand stitched, he's got to hand cut this out from leather. He's got a lot of time in these. And I asked him, you know, what can you do? How much does it cost you? You know, you need to make a reasonable amount of profit. Nobody would deny you that. So, you know, what can you do these for? So what we agreed upon was about, he said he could do it for about $90 or so, plus $10 for shipping. So I said, well, let's just do it for $100 shipped. So he was asking me what I wanted for my percentage of this, for my signature holsters. And I said, I'm not in the retail selling business. I don't want a percentage from it. I just want to make these available to people, because there's so many people that have watched the videos that have expressed interest in them, want to know where they could get one, and looked all over the web to find out that they're not available because they just don't exist. And so I said, let's do this. Of the 15 signature Wranglerstar holsters, what we'll do is he's going to choose a number somewhere between 1 and 15, and one of you guys is going to get your holster for free. I said, let's just take the profit that you were setting aside to pay me, we'll roll it back into the holster, so I'll pay it back to you guys. So somebody of that first 15 is going to get a free one, and that's up to him to choose who it is, so you'll be notified if you want to order. Chest holster? Chest holster. Quackman 7 wrote, and Quackman 7. Just curious. Quackman 7 wrote, just curious about that Chester. Man 7. Quackman 7.